Vanakkam, wonderful to be with everyone today. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, Sadhguru.
Okay, very good. Then we can start. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadi Tamastu Mavi Vishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And we will attempt to share the screen. Share. And there we go, we shared. And we'll move this one around over here. And we are ready to go. Starting as usual with Yoga Sutras. We have a ways to go here. And as I mentioned last time, we're in review of chapter 3, which means I skip a lot of the explanatory slides, just give the verses, and on occasion I ask you a question. So we're starting with a question. What is concentration? And Patanjali gives his definition. Concentration is binding the mind to a place. Commentary. A fundamental practice leading to deep meditative states is the ability to hold the mind on a limited space, a single object. This is not in itself meditation, but a precursor to meditation. It is the training and discipline of the mind that will later allow meditation to naturally unfold. This binding is done using willpower over time and sometimes requires years to achieve. So good to start when you're young. One exercise used by yogis is to have uninterrupted sequential thoughts about a simple object, such as 50 thoughts in a row on a flower or a black rock, without having a single unrelated thought intrude. Wonderful challenge. And then Gurudeva's comment on concentration. This is not as hard as it seems. It does not require you to renounce the world. It only requires you to make an effort every day to concentrate the mind by first quieting the physical body and then the mind to free itself from all the thoughts of the day. So therefore it's easier before you begin your day rather than in the middle, which would be the hardest, or even at the end is harder than at the beginning of the day. Then hold the mind on one thing that is attractive to you for as long as you can. When it wanders, pull it back until the light of understanding begins to appear. You will be amazed at the results in a very short time. True happiness will then be yours, released from the superconscious state of your own mind. So of course, that's our goal. The ordinary perspective is somehow the objects and accomplishments of the world are going to make us happy. And they do for a while, but it's not lasting. So the lasting happiness comes from inside, comes from the soul. And Gurudeva here is describing the soul as superconscious mind. To elaborate on the last statement, I will say that to follow a line of thought, then into its depths, through the use of reason takes time. when the depths are reached instantaneously through contacting the superconscious, all the essence is unfolded without the use of reason, space, or time. Yet it does not conflict with reason, because the end result is the same in any case. All the time spent in reason requires the mind to open its superconscious resources through the subconscious for the final answer. Hence, training the mind in the arts of concentration and meditation is of great value in this instance. And a second question. What is meditation? Patanjali's verse. In that state, the uninterrupted flow of cognition is meditation. Commentary. In that state refers to concentration, dharana, defined in the previous sutra. Concentration and meditation are interwoven, not fully separate processes. It is more a matter of degree, where concentration permits subtle spaces or interruptions, and meditation is the accomplished flow of undistracted mental activity. In dharana, the flow of knowledge is compared to a succession of separate drops of water. In dhyana, the flow is continuous, like oil flowing from one vessel to another in a steady, unbroken stream. And Gurudeva, this leads us then into our very next step, meditation. Meditation and concentration are practically the same thing. So meditation is simply a more intense state of concentration. The state of meditation is careful, close scrutiny of the individual elements and energies which make up that flower. You are scrutinizing the inner layers of the mind of how a flower grows, how the seed is formed. You are observing it so keenly that you have forgotten that you are a physical body, that you are an emotional unit, that you are breathing. You are in the area of mind where that flower exists, and the bush that it came from, and the roots and the seed in all phases of manifestation, all at the same time. And you are seeing it as it actually is, in that area of the mind where the flower is that you first put awareness and attention upon, then began to concentrate upon. Then you are meditating on the actual inner area of the mind where, in all stages of manifestation, that particular species actually is within the mind. Next question to you. What is contemplation? Contemplation is a lower state or lower stage of samadhi. What is contemplation? Patanjali's verse is really beautiful. Terse explanation. I think Patanjali and I would have gotten along well. We both like to be terse. Use as few words as possible. When only the object shines forth and all sense of self is absent, that indeed is samadhi. In other words, normally there's subject and object. I am looking at the flower. Excuse me. But when you get absorbed enough in what the flower is, the I goes away. So there's only the flower. So that's what it's saying. When there's only the flower, that's contemplation. or lower stage of samadhi. Let's see what the commentary says. When the flow of meditation is attained, there arises a state of union of the meditator and the object of his meditation. He has directed his awareness so perfectly toward the object that he and it have lost their differences and become one. That's pretty good. He no longer is meditating, he is meditation. In this state called samadhi, lower samadhi, the object's nature and being is revealed, and new knowledge never learned is acquired by direct superconscious perception. Whoa, we have a really long quote from Gurudeva. Out of meditation, we come into contemplation. Contemplation is concentrating so deeply in the inner areas of the mind in which the flower and the species of it and the seed of it and all exist. We go deeper, deeper, deeper within into the energy and the life within the cells of the flower, and we find that the energy and the life within the cells of the flower is the same as the energy within us. And we are in contemplation upon energy itself. We see the energy as light. We might see the light within our head if we have a slight body consciousness. In a state of contemplation, we might not even be conscious of light itself, for you are only conscious of light if you have a slight consciousness of darkness. So Gurudeva elsewhere says, inner light is produced by the friction between actinic and odic force. So if there's no odic force, the actinic force has nothing to generate friction with. You just see actinic force. In a state of contemplation, we might not even be conscious of light itself. Right, okay. Otherwise, it is just your natural state, and you are in a deep reverie. In a state of contemplation, you are so intently alive you can't move. That's why you sit so quietly. This then leads to samadhi, the very deepest samadhi, where we almost, in a sense, go within one atom of that energy and move into the primal source of all. There's really nothing that you can say about it, because you cannot cast that concept of the self or that depth of samadhi. You cannot cast it out in words. You cannot throw it out in a concept, because there are no areas of the mind in which the self exists. And yet, but for the self, the mind consciousness would not exist. And we have still another question. What is samyama? What is Patanjali's definition of samyama? The integration of these three is samyama. What are the three? Concentration, meditation, and contemplation on the same object. Samyama. Here Patanjali brings together concentration, meditation, and samadhi, decreeing that when these three are skillfully mastered, the state of samyama, meditative union, is reached. Here we're speaking about samyama, says Gurudeva, thought, meaning, and knowledge combined as one. When combined as one, it lifts up the lid of the third eye. What is hidden behind the veil of ignorance is seen. Concentration is an art that, once attained, leads naturally into meditation, contemplation, and samadhi. The three-point concentration spoken of in this aphorism releases the whole of the external from its internal counterpart of the yogi's awareness. A deep yogic law is discussed here. Okay, I think we got through the questions. From that mastery dawns the light of profound wisdom. Application of this, another question. Application of this comes in stages. This is an obscure question. What is stages referring to? This refers back to samyama, the integrated practices of dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, as defined in the previous sutras. Yoga does not come all at once, but like a long journey unfolds in stages. As Patanjali indicates here, referring to the application of samyama, each part of the journey must be followed and completed before the next reveals itself. Beginners must focus on the fundamentals, while advanced practitioners may engage in the more profound contemplative practices. These three limbs are internal relative to the preceding ones. So we have 8 limbs: yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara. So those are the first 5. Then here we have dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So these 3 limbs are internal relative to the preceding ones. Here Patanjali refers to the practices of dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, the 3 elements of samyama mentioned in Sutra 3.4. They are more internal than yama, niyama, asana. Pranayama and pratyahara. He is continuing with his discussion of stages, implying again that mastery of the earlier 5 brings in its wake effective engagement with the last 3. Another way to understand his intent is to know that the outer expressions of life and consciousness must be clarified and mastered before the innermost explorations are undertaken. That's a nice paraphrase. Yet these limbs are external in relation to samadhi without seed. That's what he calls nir bija, without seed. These limbs refer to dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. The term seed, bija, refers to the potential for form, change, or mental activity. Seeds are latent impressions or samskaras stored in the mind, which have the potential to sprout into thoughts, emotions, and actions. They represent the residue of past experiences. These subtle impressions or tendencies can arise in the mind even in deep states of meditation. Patanjali reminds us that samadhi itself has stages and speaks of the ultimate stage, samadhi without seed, nirbija or asamprajñata samadhi. By this he means a samadhi which has no form, no object, no seed to sprout into experience. Very good. And our second topic, as usual, is from Pastor Siva. Lesson 43. What is sadhana? How would you answer that question? There are 3 dimensions to our being: physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. All 3 need attention for optimum health. Exercise strengthens our physical body. Learning and practicing self-control expands and enhances our emotional, mental capacity. Through sadhana, spiritual practice, we exercise our spiritual nature by taking time to experience it. Most of the time, we are so wrapped up in our outer nature that we are hardly aware of our deep, glorious inner reality. This can go on life after life, as many people only begin to think of greater realities when nearing the point of death. We give time to our spiritual nature by performing religious activities, ideally as a daily vigil or spiritual exercise. During this quiet time alone, we focus on life's inner purpose, which is to make spiritual progress. Puja, japa, scriptural study, hatha yoga, and meditation are all forms of sadhana. Some sadhanas are yearly, such as going on pilgrimage. Some may be assigned by the Guru as a one-time practice. Popular sadhana is chanting Om 108 times each day. The 10-minute spiritual workout is becoming popular in today's busy world. So that's our mobile app, which makes it easy. It was recently upgraded. New improved version is there for those of you who use it. These times of quiet retreat from life's hustle and bustle are underrated. Their benefits overlooked. Sadhana builds willpower, faith, and confidence in oneself and in God, gods, and Guru. Harnesses our instinctive intellectual nature, allowing unfoldment into the superconscious realizations and innate abilities of the soul. Gurudeva noted, through sadhana, we learn to control the energies of the body and nerve system. And we experience that through the control of the breath, the mind becomes peaceful. Sadhana is practiced in the home, in the forest, by a flowing river, under a favorite tree, in the temple, in gurukulas, or wherever a pure, serene atmosphere can be found. Oh, a nice quote from Yoga Swami here at the end. Yoga Swami directed his devotees to follow the sadhana marga, the path of religious effort, all through life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sadhguru.